into team comps, first week team comps. So we're going to update how all the teams are doing and go into this week's number. So we'll start there. So last week's numbers as a company, we did 441 installs, and top offices, Detroit 123, Lafayette 107, Mobile 63, Houma 51, Nashville 41, Shreveport 26, and Baton Rouge 24. So solid numbers. We're getting to where that time of the year you feel the grind more than ever. I was talking to my wife on the way here. She's driving with me. And I said, hey, what is it we should go over today? She's like, this time of the year, for everyone to know, she used to work in the call center. So she'd do the welcome calls, and we'd used to laugh. That
seems like cheating to have your wife do the welcome calls.
Lots of times I wouldn't want to say. They'd be like, hey, you're going to talk to Chelsea on the phone. People that are cool, like, it's actually my wife. And they're like, but it was funny as when people didn't know she was my wife, they'd start asking her questions about the alarm. Like she knew more than I did.
That's funny.
And I'd get home and she had like literally no training. But anyway, she was just saying it was amazing. During August, you would come home working all day. You guys were driving somewhere far. You'd go to bed, and the next morning you're up training and right back to work again. She's like, how was it at this time of the year that you would go to bed and wake up and go right back to work? And a lot of it is, I just explained, like this time of year, I had hoped for something that motivated me. And a lot of times if I'd have some sort of emotion involved, but most of the time I just turned my emotions off, and it was just going through the motions of work. And it was just normal to work hard every day. So I feel like you either have to do one or the other. You either have to have a really good strong of hope of what you're working for, or turn your emotions off. But good job on numbers. Pretty amazing. Still going in this competition. Take it personal for who you're against.
It's a fun time of year.
It is fun. Yeah.
Okay. Dinner goals last week. We had Houma, Nashville, and Lafayette all earn dinner. Those are the teams
winners
that won in the winners bracket. Top 10 vets from last week. Jansen Markham with 15 accounts. Cole Hymas with 11. Cade DeBell with 10. Good work, Cade. Josh Grossbeck with 10. I think that's that's a new name in the top 10, which is great.
Which he's been around a little while. Him and your brother both there in Nashville. Awesome, solid numbers. So congrats on getting in there.
Nathan Salyer with 9. Jacob Prejant, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but I think it sounds good, with 9. Ian Meyer, 9. Zach Richardson, as always, 9. Matt Nugent with 7, and Mr. Jet Vance with 9.
I had a call a couple weeks ago with Jance where he said, I need to be at 15 a week again. In the last 2 weeks, he's done 15.
That's good.
So way to set a goal and go hit it. I think we all know where we can be. And I think a lot of that showed in the July competition, what guys can do. So it's just like bridging the gap between what you know you can do and what you're doing.
Yeah.
So, okay. So top rookies last week, Tyler Wright on the top with 10 accounts. First week on the top. So congrats being there. Nazareth Hakobian at 8.
There we go, Naz.
Yeah. Second rookie. It's first time being up that high. So congrats on that, Naz. Good work. Isaac Meyer, 8. Always saw it on top. Same as Tyler Kemp, 7. Riley Sutton, 6. All those guys consistently there. Cameron Walsh, 6. Jay Payne, 6. Darius Austin, 6. Joseph Polite, yeah.
Attaboy, Joe.
Yeah,
I was
6.
with him last week.
Yeah. You had lots of good to say. So lots to look forward to, Joe. So
yeah, he came out a little later and runs track. So he's having to go back a little earlier, but he's dialed. He's doing well.
Picking it up.
Yep.
And then Joseph Chatelaine at 6. So solid week for rookies. So good to see the consistent guys there and also some new guys at the top. Yeah.
Office versus office.
Yeah. So we can pull that up. So the one thing that the guys, and I think managers will go over this. So if you're lost last week, you're in a competition against, there's 3, so there'll be 1 that comes out of there. That
3 competing, 1 winner.
1 winner. Yep. And then the matchups, Houma and Detroit are going against each other. And then Nashville and Lafayette are against each other in the winners bracket. So take it personal. This is something you can get behind as a team to go win. And it's really fun to help push. You know, this is kind of like gladiator games, but bigger. I mean, you're not winning gummy bears. You're winning like a $10,000 team trip.
Yeah, it's been fun hearing what everybody's planning on doing with that.
10 grand.
Yeah.
So some of the guys that are nice are like, oh, we could take the techs too with us because they're part of the comp, you know?
Yeah.
So if you do that, good, you know, good. But I mean, we've heard of guys who are getting lake houses, beach houses, doing something, but make sure it's something your team will remember. And then you have to post it on Instagram. So we get some hype on the page.
10 grand goes a long ways.
Yeah, it does. Okay.
You have any stories from any office versus office comps previous years?
I felt like for us, we would always get way behind it. And I have never been part of a winning team, which is sad to say. In the years we've done it, we've done this August team comp since probably like 2018. And the team, when I was running a team, we got second place 3 years in a row.
Who won our first year working together?
With our first year working together, we lost.
Yeah, but who won? That's what I'm saying.
It was Brady and Dahan's team. So, but they had part of back then is we had a lot of guys leave for school. So it was the end of that actually went into like, I think the beginning of September, and we lost so many guys and we were committed to win. If you remember, we got an Airbnb.
We flew out some boys.
Yeah. So we had guys leave.
Yeah.
And then we replaced them with
guys that had sold like 10 years ago.
30-year-old
really
guys.
Good.
200 account reps from a decade ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we brought out some rusty guys. One of them sold for his first day, and they called us out saying we're cheating, bringing in these
other
guys.
one I couldn't kick out of the car.
Yeah, and the other one was just there to hang out.
Yeah.
So, but we were committed to win. That was the thing. And
I remember we got accused of cheating because we were doing like way more volume than we had done the rest of the time.
Mm-hmm. So it's fun. Even if you make it to the championship and don't win, but produce more, it's worth the competing. But that year was really close. The year before we got second, the year after we got second. So that was sandwiches 3 years in a row. But don't regret going our hardest, right? We really did a hell week. We started early, finished late, and barely lost close each year. So it was still fun.
Makes me sad thinking about it.
The fun part was still as a team being that close in an Airbnb. We left all the wives back at the apartments. We woke up early,
9 a.m.
Mandatory jog at 9 a.m. And then went to work.
That's hilarious. I forgot that.
I remember dropping guys off in Orangeburg one of those years in that competition. Finn.
They did
and
well.
just sweating just these guys out all day. But yeah, it is for me, finishing strong in the summer, it's taking my mind out of it. So taking your mind out of it is just going and working hard, like going through those motions, right?
Yeah, fun time of year for sure.
One of the things, a lot of guys know this already. We'll throw up a poster. One of the things that always push guys, if you guys notice on the weekly numbers, it'll show what your monthly MMR is on the week. So we're going to be launching and sending out some swag for guys who've hit 1K in a week, which there's a good amount. We had a lot of new guys hit it over the Derby. And we wanted to launch this now because if you haven't hit it, you should be able to have some of your biggest weeks in August, which we're seeing on the dashboard. Some of these guys that are the top, that haven't been, and they're all summer, are guys that are hitting the top. So 1K is 1,000 MMR on the week. You'll be getting swag that will be a package given on the back end. Sweater, yeah. So it's just kind of a club that you'll see, something that you should push to hit, even if it's one time. Yeah. So going out and having a really big week and hitting 1,000 MMR.
It's an elite group.
Yeah. It's not easy to do. So this week's Pro Spotlight is going to be Jansen Markham and Riley Sutton. All right. This week's Pro Spotlight, we got Jansen Markham on here. We're going to ask a few questions to Jansen. I just wanted to first touch base for the guys who don't know Jansen. If you haven't watched his training video, he's the first one that we had go through the whole process on YouTube. So jump on there.
I think he might be the most viewed
has the most views on your training video.
on the YouTube channel. So
The
I'm
first
sure
one.
guys have watched it.
Yeah.
That's what.
If you haven't watched it, don't be the only one that doesn't watch it. That's a good training video. So Jansen's third year doing the job. First year you had started the job straight off your mission, no training, came out, sold 150 counts. That was a fun summer because we got to live together. I put on the hoodie because Jansen's always wearing a hoodie. He always got it on. Also on the podcast, we talked about invite only. So we'll be launching that. This is the sweater. So, but it was cool to see Jansen's first year. I think the thing we always talked about was you ran from the car whenever it's time to pick up. You'd try to make sure you got late night deals, which I think got you to that 150. You took a couple weeks off and went to Greece and all over. You kind of regretted that later because how hard it was to come back and get the ball rolling. But Hal had a solid first year, top first year in the company. Second year, you brought out 4 buddies and did 500 counts between the 5 of you, which was solid. And then this year, you're managing a team. Your third year doing the job. You'll do probably 1,250 counts as a team. So solid, and are over 200 accounts personally. So you went from 150, 175 to now you're over 200. Got married this summer, so congrats to you and Sid. So that's Jans. Anything I missed?
Can end it right now.
There you go. Okay, so wanted to talk about a few of the things that you did and the progression of the job, and also where you see your next steps, because you've done a pretty good job of taking the job one step at a time to get where you are now, and then also you have already in your mind where you're taking the job from here. But I think it's something that we want everybody to see what you did and replicate it. And also, I mean, it started with recruiting. So between your first year and your second year, what was your mindset going into your second year after being top first year in the company, and what you wanted to accomplish in your second year and going into this year?
Yeah. I mean, the first thing that's important is you need to focus on yourself first, as far as like your own personal numbers. I think like that was the biggest help for me going into my second year. I think everyone that I brought out with me my second year, I actually never reached out to them to like recruit them. They had like reached out to me or it said, "Hey, I heard you did good. Tell me about it." And then it just was more natural. And so for anyone that's wanting to go and take this job to the next level, I would say focus on your personal accounts first, and recruiting will be like 10 times more easier.
Create a story. I agree. So this last year, after you had 4 guys, so I feel like I agree, but then this last year you probably took more of an emphasis of saying, "Hey, I'm going to do this and go run a team," and you put some more effort into reaching out to people, right?
Yeah.
And so, but you had some success with guys who had come out. Cade sold 125 his first year of the year, and you'd see like, hey, bringing guys to the job can be a huge thing for guys. All those guys you brought were successful. So,
yeah, I think you doing it as well as you did also added some pressure to those guys. Like Riley texted me the other day and he's like, "How many did Jansen sell his first year?" Because he's wanting to sell more than you did. So I think it helps them that you are, like you say, focusing on yourself a little, making sure the numbers are there personally.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, the per rep average for the guys that came out with me my second year, I think was like 88 or something, and they were all first years, because they were like all competitive with each other, and we had a good little culture like that. And I think that also helped even more. Like, hey, we had a really good per rep average for the guys that came out, and that also helped like recruiting. But I definitely doubled down on reaching out to people in a more natural way. Had plenty of guys, more fell off than actually stayed out, or even came out in the first place, which is also just part of the job.
Question for you. I'd say which for me, I can maybe see this better than you, but I wonder if you see it from your first year and us sitting in that couch in the living room, you asking me how this job works and how the progression works. And I guess, how have you seen yourself improve or progress as you've went from focusing on your own cells to focusing on your team cells and recruiting and training and managing, assigning area, dealing with housing, licensing, police, and how have you seen through all the crap we go through?
Licensing.
Especially you guys have been getting kicked out of states, lack of equipment. You guys have cell units today. Like, how through all that have you kept it together, and how have you grown from it?
Yeah, I mean, it's just identifying the controllables. It's like if it's out of my control, then there's not much I can do about it. So identify what I can control and then focus on those things. It's definitely a big step. Going from, I mean, for all the reps that are out there, your managers do a lot for you, and I took that for granted for my managers my first couple of years. So there are things that pop up, and just got to roll with the punches. But yeah, licensing and licensing, all the good stuff has been tough. But I mean, shout out to all the guys out here too. They've also been rolling with the punches, and like we just went and did a 3-week blitz over 3 hours where we live right now. In Alabama, it's the only place we could sell for a little while, and we had our best week. And it was like last night, I'm like, hey, we're jumping ship for a couple of weeks. Let's go. All the guys are like, hey, let's do it, and did like 80 something accounts that week, and so I think it's also just fostering that culture too. Like, hey, let's just roll with the punches and take what we got and do the best that we can.
Yeah, I like that. One thing that you said to one of the guys that I think everyone needs to hear is the grass is greener where you water it. And you guys, you've done a good job of that. Wherever you've been thrown, you're not, your control is just that you're there, and you just got to water the grass and it'll get green. You've done a good job of that. You also, and we talked about this, but your personality towards the job. One thing that we've appreciated is that a lot of guys reserve and only give themselves 80%. You've done a good job at giving 100% to your team and to the guys, and it's shown in, I think, as far as how the guys, how much you give them, how much the guys who manage like you, and how you've gotten better at the job. Have you regretted ever giving 100%? Have you seen the benefits from it, and how have you committed at such a high level to the job?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you got to take this job like it's a job, and it'll pay better than you'd expect. But I find a lot of satisfaction in the guys doing well too. But
overall, guys struggle though to they reserve part of themselves, and a lot of guys that do the best, they give their all. So maybe you don't even realize that's the way how you are, but I think a lot of
talent in me, I'm not gonna lie too, but I enjoy it. I think that's also helpful, is enjoying, I mean, you can only enjoy knocking doors so much. There's a grind in that, but having fun while you do it.
I agree. Yeah. Okay. Last question, I guess, is how I think you did good last year. I remember our year-end interview. You finished strong last year, and we finished with this year in mind and what you wanted to accomplish this year. How did you do that last year as far as finishing the summer strong and going into this, like knowing what your goal was for this year? And what's your plan for finishing strong this year, and what's your goal going into next year?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you'll never regret, like, looking back on it. I know we've all talked about this before, but let's just say it's November. You're not going to regret working that extra week or two in September, or in August, but you're way more likely to regret not. So for me, after my first year, I sold like 150, whatever. And by October, I funded 148 or something like that.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, Chance, the heck. And I didn't think my attrition was going to be that good, first off. But second off, I left like August 18th and was gone during the summer. So I could have stayed out longer and made, that whatever that pay bump is.
10
So
grand.
yeah. So I mean, hindsight's 2020, but for the guys that are like, oh, I want to go home and relax a little bit before I go to school or whatever the case is I'll never regret staying out a little longer, So that and then just being all in till the end of the summer, it's like, hey, you're out here. It's, I think, burnout, like people talk about burnout, it's such just a mindset. It doesn't need to be real. If you had your end date for December, I doubt you'd be burning out in August, but we all have our end date of like, oh, August 31st, therefore your burnout needs to be in August, but that's just created in our brains. So that's all I got, really. Just, I mean, also like Hell Week too. I mean, I think from the guys here, we knock way more in August than we do the rest of the months. A lot of these guys are like going out in the mornings all the time because it's like, hey, we got nothing else to do right now. Let's just go put our heads down and work. And that actually helps out too. Than just sitting in the apartment till the meeting and then you go out and work and just like, hey, nothing wrong with going out in the mornings.
Yeah, your
Mentally
guys' group
easier.
chat, it says that a lot. Like people you're texting out, hey, whoever's going out in the morning, this is the plan for area, or it
Yeah, I was
seems like
walking
pretty often guys are going full day.
times, and I got like 4 guys there, and I'm like, what's going on? They're all out in the area knocking sometimes, which is good.
Yeah. Cool. Well, shout out to, I know you just moved into one in the company. That's more of a poke to the guys around you, but congrats on that. That's your first time being there. So,
Yeah.
But it's just like guys, top of week. It's and I just say it's a big accomplishment to see that, So, but anyway, I think that's all we got. So thanks for jumping on the podcast.
Thanks for having me.